Just because you have a role model doesn't mean it's going to be positive. So with all these negative things against us, no wonder that our net value is $5 or lower. I mean, to be honest, we don't have any businesses. Black people make up, 1% of all the businesses in the United States of America. I mean, seriously, look at all the negative things against us. So what are we going to do to change it? They're giving us all these numbers. They're giving us all this. Everybody keep talking about, we talking about the problems, but no one's bringing a solution. I have been bringing many, many solutions, and I'm going to continue to help you. Whether you watch my videos or not, maybe one day they'll get bigger, who knows, but I'm going to continue to do it. Because I feel, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and your great-grandmother, and everyone else before me that struggled to get me to this point, I owe it to them to do the same thing I did before. Now, we don't have to physically fight. We don't have to go out here and do this, but we have to fight with our minds, because we're still enslaved in our minds. Now, I'm about to tell you something that no one ever told you about. Once again, I'm going to bring up the word intellectual properties. Intellectual properties are more important than any house and anything you could ever have. If you own something like a book, music, drawings, words, stuff like that, those are more important because you can build a business from an intellectual property. You can make yourself a name. You can make yourself wealthy for the rest of your life. And let me bring an example. Nina Simone, she's not with us anymore. We still talk about her. We still listen to her music. If she actually owned the rights to her song, which I hope she did. I mean, she was a very smart woman. She did, like everyone else, make mistakes. But she's a very intelligent woman. If she owned the rights to her intellectual properties, which are her songs, and they continue to play them right now after she's been gone, and they can continue to play them, and we're going to continue to bring her up, her name will always come back and forth. If she managed to have these and pass them down to her family, it means money that will always come into her family. Same thing with Michael Jackson. With his kids, he still owns the Beatles catalog. He owns his own catalog. His kids never have to do anything in their life. All they got to do is just re-release something that's old. Or every time somebody wants to use the Beatles song, or Michael Jackson song, they got to pay them. Or you got to think all the countless video games and everything that Michael Jackson just brings. And then same thing with the Beatles. When he chooses to put the Beatles up there, he can make a Beatles song. People will love it. People love the Beatles. So, with that being said, these intellectual properties that these people have will always come back to be fruitful. This is a tree. Think of intellectual property as a tree. Like that. See those trees? Think of it as a tree. A tree is something that will always fruit as long as it's alive. If you understand what you have, you can plant your intellectual properties and turn it into a tree, and then to keep fruiting year after year after year. There are trees that are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old that hasn't died. If you're smart enough, you can make an intellectual property last forever. Batman and Superman and some of these comic book heroes will still be here thousands of years from now. There'll just be a new upgraded version of Batman, a new upgraded version of Superman. Because, for one, we love them. Two, the people that have them, they know how to keep marketing them to us, that we're always love them. I mean, the Superman like 100 years old or something like that. Anyways, at least 75 years old. So, he's at least 75 years old. This comic book character is 75 years old. At least. I think it's 100. But he's at least 75 years old. And you can still see that we're still in love with the idea of Superman. Batman's probably a little younger. Batman's probably maybe 70 years old. Still, we're still in love with Batman. New Batman movie coming out. New Superman movie coming out. They're going to make millions, maybe billions of dollars off of another intellectual property. Once again, there's nothing more important in this life than intellectual properties. It can be a drawing. It can be some words. It can be a book. It can be anything like that. I say that each intellectual property that you have, in 25 years, you should at least be able to make $1,000 off of it. If you know what you're doing, if you know where to put it at, if you know how to market it, if you know how to spice it up, make it look good, you should be able to at least make $1,000 off of each intellectual property you have. I mean, that's not really nothing. So imagine someone that wrote tons of books, tons of drawings, tons of poetry, just stuff like that. Comic books and things, because small comics turn to big comics. One of my favorite sayings I always say, small things turn to big things. Now, small things like your idea could turn into something big. You can develop your own studio. You can develop your own anything. Your own movie, your own this, your own that. There's so many endless possibilities towards owning intellectual properties. And that's why you're not supposed to sell them too. Because like I say, the royalties from these things can be fruitful. There's a 12-year-old girl that I know who writes books. All she does is publish her books on Google, iTunes, and Amazon. I think she might have some on Barnes and Nobles too. I'm not too sure. You should have some on there too. But she makes a lot of money off of these. She's 12. Who put that in her head? She didn't put it in her head. She's only 12 years old. She hasn't been in the world long enough. One of her parents, mother, father, maybe both. Who knows who did it? Parent and guardian, someone did that. And by them doing that, this child makes $100,000 a year. She's 12. Maybe she'll get bigger, but she has intellectual property, so she keeps writing and writing and writing. One of the things might not work, but the other one will. But she makes $100,000 a year. I think she's 13 now. Yeah, she's 13 now. She was 12 when she started. She's 13 now. So in 2 years, she made $200,000. What's your excuse? There's too much knowledge out here for us to continue being only worth $5 or under. I mean, a damn sub is worth more than you are. Gotta understand that. There's some damn sandwiches on Subway that's more than $5 that are worth more than you are. Even videos like this that I'm making, that I'm walking around here basically showing you the ground, pools and water and everything. This is my intellectual property. Pause it.